Today marks the start of meteorological summer, and if we see a repeat of last year, we could see another record-breaking number of visitors at our national parks. From Acadia in Maine to the Grand Canyon in Arizona, there are 63 beautiful national parks total in the United States. But layoffs and funding cuts imposed by DOGE and the Trump administration have threatened the work the service does, the experience visiting guests could have every single day. Here with us now is Executive Director of the Association of National Park Rangers, Bill Wade. Bill, good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for asking me to be on.
It's a pleasure. Now, I've been reporting on DOGE a lot, specifically these cuts when it comes to our national parks. We've read so many reports about the possibility of overflowing garbage cans, dirty bathrooms, extra long lines because of these cuts that I just mentioned. What do you think will be the visitor experience?
Well, it really makes me sad to say that I think the National Park Service is in the worst condition it's been in modern history.
Wow.
And that probably means back to either during or just after the Second World War. The staffing in the National Park Service right now is in shambles. And that's going to have a big effect on the visiting public, even this summer, but certainly beyond this summer.
If these employee cuts stay permanent, how impacted would the park system be? Can seasonal employees, for example, come in and fill that gap?
Well, since the advent of this DOGE cuts in February, we estimate that there have been 2,500 permanent employees in the Park Service that have left. And many of those employees are senior leaders. We know, for instance, that 7 of the regional directors in the geographic regions in the Park Service, 5 of those are vacant. We estimate that there's probably 100 superintendent positions in the Park Service that are vacant. And that's going to make a big difference in the overall leadership and how new employees and so forth are trained. The Park Service is under a hiring freeze for those permanents and can't replace those people right now. Until last week, I was pretty optimistic about what would happen this summer because the Park Service was given authorization to hire 7,700 seasonal employees for this summer, which actually started last week with Memorial Day. However, last week, the National Parks Conservation Association found out that fewer than half of those positions have been hired for whatever reason. So that means that visitors that go to the parks this summer are likely to encounter some impacts. Visitor center operations, time, ranger-led tours, custodial maintenance, that sort of thing, I think is going to be affected this summer.
When we look at the numbers, I'm going to bring up last year. They saw a record number of visitors at the nation's parks, more than 331 million. Bill, is the park system in its current state right now prepared to handle numbers like that again, perhaps even more this summer?
I don't believe that they are. I think that given the fact that the number of seasonals that we had hoped would be hired this summer to carry forward with the visitor services, and now it looks like there aren't going to be that number. So I think that that's going to mean that visitors are going to have some impacts. And I think what visitors need to do now is, before they decide to visit a park this summer, they need to call ahead or find out some way or another what the situation is going to be so that they aren't surprised, for instance, by long lines at the entrance station or certain visitor center hours that have been changed or things like that. So we don't want visitors to be surprised, but I think that it's not going to be like they might expect during a normal summer.
I'm running out of time, Bill, but I want to ask if you could talk directly to the administration. What would you say to them about our nation's national treasures, these parks?
Well, I think what I would tell them is that the National Park Service has for years and decades been rated by the public as their favorite federal agency. And we know that national parks that the American public is really passionate about national parks. And the broadsword approach that the DOGE and the administration has taken to cut staffing, cut funding. I just don't think that that's really what the American public wants relative to the beautiful national park system.
Yeah, we'll see how the summer plays out. I really do appreciate your insight, Bill. Bill Wade, thank you again.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.